Hey, this is Phil Lilley, Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on Lake Taneycomo. Going to do one cast today. I'm going to show you here what I'm going to be using. Talked about it here in the last week or so. Got to clean the green fuzz off these flies. I got out and fished a little bit today, a couple times today. This is the rig that I used. Bright sun, little color in the water earlier today. Now it's all clear because they ran water. But this is the double zebra midge rig that I've been using. This is a number, oh, this is number 18. Red with a gold head, zebra midge, 6X tippet, about 18 inches of line to a bigger zebra midge. This one is a 14, black, and I think this used to be, I don't know, brass or something, but it's all faded. But it's black with copper wire. And then I'm gonna set it about 3 feet from that first fly to my indicator. It's a small indicator with a stick in it, all 6X tippet. And I've got what Dwayne calls a scum line. It's a bunch of, not a whole lot of stuff, but there's some leaves and stuff that's sitting at the top of the lake, right down the middle of the lake. It's all in a line, and I've seen several rainbows coming up and eating midges around in that area. They're not super active yet. They probably will be in here in a little bit, but that's what I'm going to do, is go ahead and throw this little zebra midge rig. Now I threw this earlier today when the sun was out, real bright, and I fished it at 2 depths. This depth I fished, I found some fish that were pretty close to that bluff bank over there. There's one that just rose over there. And another one jumped right there. So I fished it shallower against that bank over there, and I caught, a dozen rainbows, and then fishing out here in the deeper water, actually a little closer to the bank, but fishing, 9, 10 foot of water, you can actually get a lot of depth to this rig with the 2 fly rig. There's another one. Fishing at about 8 feet deep, and caught a lot of fish. They were very active at that depth, even with that bright sun. Now I do like to move the zebra midge a little bit, just like a jig. Yeah, they're really starting to get active now. But what I usually do is cast this a lot. I don't leave it in the same spot very long, like I'm doing now, trying to catch a fish on the first cast. But I'll target some of these fish that are jumping, and or I will move this around. I'll leave it maybe in one place for about a minute, minute and a half, and then I'll throw it back out and just kind of pick spots. The thing is, these rainbows cruise around looking for these midges, so I like to keep it moving around, intercept some of these fish that are moving around. No fish, 1 cast. So I'll throw it back out here in the middle of that scum line. Now, I don't like to throw this a long distance away because a lot of times the bite is just that float just vibrates. As small as it is, you'd think they'd pull it down under the surface, but sometimes they just come up and they just mow the fly, and it just vibrates that float just a little bit, and you gotta set the hook quick because they'll take it in their mouth and they just spit it right back out. So if you throw it out too far away, you can't see that float move. And that's pretty borderline right there. Sometimes you can see the ripples move away from the float when it's vibrating. That fog makes it a little bit more deceiving. The other thing you can do, if you're not getting bit, is you can move the float up and down. You can make it a little bit shallower if you think the fish are not quite as deep. Or if you think they're deeper, you can move the float up and make it, 4, 5, 6 foot deep. Now you can do this same thing with a weighted float and a spin cast. You can fish 2 zebra midges with a spin cast. I went up and fished a little bit below Fall Creek. I started about where the riprap stops, just below the dock there. And I fished the channel and I fished it deep. I fished it, 8 foot deep. And they are very active in that channel there, even in that bright sun. And the water was clearer up there than it was here. Now if you're fishing this weekend, you're going to find that not too far down from here, the water is going to be super muddy. I think it's probably still muddy, very muddy down at the landing. Man, that was a nice fish right there. I'm gonna go chase him. The rain that we got yesterday really muddied up the lake, and they ran enough water to push that muddy water down past us. It was just a little bit dingy here, but down there not too far, it's chocolate. It's pretty muddy, I'd say. I haven't been down there to look, but say Monkey Island down. So it's gonna crowd the boats up a little bit. You're not gonna see a lot of those boats fishing down at the landing this weekend because of that muddy water. Now, they might run some water tomorrow afternoon and push it down even further, but it's not going to move. It's not going to move unless they run water. Huh. I caught more fish in the sunlight than I'm catching right now. And I caught more fish on the small red zebra than I did the big one, but I did catch fish on the bigger black. You might ask why the two fly and why the bigger and the smaller. I like to fish a bigger zebra midge just for visibility. if they see that big zebra midge, they might not want the big zebra midge, and they'll swim over and see the small one and take it. So you might call it an attractant, but it's really, I don't want to put two real tiny two little tiny flies out here, and they might not see it. I'd rather fish something big and gaudy looking to get there, and then they swim over and they see that little ones. They like it better. Tell you what, I am really surprised. But you know what I brought? I brought a jig and float, or a jig. It's a little 16th ounce sculpin jig with an orange head, 2-pound line. Nothing there. Boy. Well, I am flat getting skunked. Not even a bite. Got a lot of people checking in tonight. Full house tomorrow. I believe we still have some boats to rent the weekend, so. I bet you they'll bite in the morning. They're sure not biting this evening. Don't call it quits. Thanks for watching. We will see you tomorrow.